All right, Chiefs Kingdom. Let's talk about the tough part of every offseason. Saying goodbye. Every great team goes through it, and this year, Kansas City felt the sting. 3 names in particular stood out: Joe Thuney, Justin Reed, and Tershawn Wharton. These aren't just random guys off the roster. These are veterans who helped the Chiefs bring home championships, keep the locker room solid, and lead by example on and off the field. Let's start with Joe Thuney. He wasn't just one of the best guards in the league. He was the rock of this offensive line. The kind of guy you count on every snap, especially when protecting Patrick Mahomes. And while his trade to the Panthers frees up a chunk of cap space and adds a day 3 pick, it still leaves a huge hole up front. Chiefs fans know we've seen how much pressure Mahomes can face when the O-line's not locked in. Then there's Justin Reed, a leader in the secondary, a communicator, and someone who could hit hard and cover ground. He heads to the Saints, and that leaves some big shoes to fill in the back end of the defense. Losing a vet like Reed doesn't just affect coverage, it affects the whole vibe of the defensive unit. Chemistry, communication, confidence, it's all connected. And finally, Tershawn Wharton. He may not be the household name, but Chiefs fans know how important he's been in the trenches. Rotational, versatile, and dependable. When you lose depth on the defensive line, it shows late in the season when injuries start piling up. So yeah, these aren't just any departures, they matter, and they create real questions about what comes next. Let me ask you this: which loss hit you the hardest? Type your answer in the comments. A for Thuney, B for Reed, C for Wharton. And hey, if you love this kind of breakdown and you're riding with the Chiefs all the way to 4K subscribers, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're just getting started, and you won't want to miss what's next. Now let's really break it down. Joe Thuney. Trading away an all-pro guard isn't something you see every day, especially when your quarterback is Patrick Mahomes and the whole game plan depends on keeping him upright. So why would Brett Veach pull the trigger on something so bold? Well, first off, it's about the money. Thuney had a massive cap hit coming up, and with the Chiefs needing flexibility to keep this roster competitive, his contract became the biggest lever to pull. Sending him to Carolina opened up much-needed space, which gives Kansas City more breathing room to address other areas. And let's not forget, the trade also brought in a 4th-round pick. Now, a day 3 pick doesn't sound flashy, but for a GM like Veach, that's gold. This front office has turned mid-round picks into legit contributors year after year. So don't be surprised if that 4th-rounder turns into someone we're all talking about next season. But here's the real twist. The Chiefs didn't just dump Thuney and hope for the best. They had a plan. One name to keep an eye on? Trey Smith. He's got the attitude, the strength, and now the experience. KC believes in him, and there's talk he might slide over to left guard. That would be a huge show of trust, and a chance for him to shine on an even bigger stage. Add to that the young depth Kansas City has developed up front, guys like Wanya Morris and even rookies from the draft, and you start to see how this O-line is being reimagined. It's risky, sure, but it's also strategic. Thuney's departure isn't just a loss. It's a calculated shift. Veach is betting on growth, youth, and financial discipline. Still, let's be real. This move puts pressure on everyone. On Trey Smith to step up, on the coaches to get the O-line chemistry right, and on Mahomes to do what Mahomes does, make magic even when things get shaky. So let's check the pulse. Are you feeling confident about the O-line after the Thuney trade? Or are you a little nervous? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And hey, if you're hyped to see how this line holds up and you want to help us hit 4,000 subscribers, smash that like button and subscribe now. You know we've got more Inside Chiefs talk coming your way. Let's shift to the defensive side of the ball, because while everyone's talking about the O-line changes, the defense quietly took a couple of serious hits too. First up, Justin Reed. You already know, he wasn't just a solid safety. He was a leader on and off the field, one of the loudest voices in the secondary. a communicator who helped line up the defense, especially with younger players around him. Losing him to the Saints? That one stings. Not just because of the talent, but because of the trust. When you lose that kind of experience in the back end, you're taking a gamble that the next man up is ready, mentally and physically. Reed brought swagger, physicality, and a deep understanding of Spagnuolo's system. His departure creates a vacuum, and now it's on guys like Brian Cook and Shamari Connor to step up. Both have flashed potential, but can they be reliable every single snap? That's the big question. Now let's talk about Tershawn Wharton. Quietly effective, underrated. The kind of guy who might not fill the stat sheet but was always doing the dirty work inside. His versatility on the defensive line made him valuable. He could line up in different spots and provide steady pressure or run support. Losing Wharton doesn't just hurt the rotation, it puts more pressure on guys like Charles Omenihu, Derek Inati, and even the rookies to hold the line, especially when the weather turns cold and playoff football gets physical. Now, the Chiefs didn't just sit back and let all this happen. Brett Veach made a smart move by signing Kristian Fulton from the Titans. Fulton's been a solid starter at corner, and while he's not a direct replacement for Reed, he does add depth and experience to the secondary. That matters, especially in a division loaded with quarterback talent. Still, when you lose leadership and depth on defense, it changes everything. Communication has to be rebuilt, trust needs to be earned, and younger guys are going to have to grow up fast. So here's a simple one. Do you believe the Chiefs' defense can keep up without Reed and Wharton? Yes or no? Vote in the comments and tell me why you think that. And if you're locked in with the Chiefs through thick and thin, hit that like button and subscribe. We're closing in on 4,000 subscribers, and your support means everything. All right, we've talked about the key players who left. Now let's talk about who's stepping up to fill those big shoes. Starting on offense, the name Jaylon Moore is getting a lot of buzz. Drafted as a tackle, Moore's physical traits and work ethic have Chiefs fans hopeful. He's raw, sure, but the coaching staff believes he can grow into a solid starter or key rotational piece on that offensive line. He might just be the future protection Mahomes needs. Then there's Trey Smith, who we mentioned before. Moving into a bigger role, he's expected to anchor the interior line. The guy has heart, and the Chiefs clearly trust him to take on more responsibility. If he steps up, the loss of Thuney won't sting as badly. On defense, Kristian Fulton's signing stands out. Coming from the Titans, Fulton brings experience and some fresh energy to the secondary. He's a physical corner who can help cover some of the gaps left behind with Justin Reed's departure. The question is, how quickly can he gel with the team and Spagnuolo's system? The Chiefs also have some exciting draft picks who could make an impact. Josh Simmons and Josh Connerly, both picked in 2025, have the talent and versatility to contribute on defense and special teams. They're young, hungry, and ready to prove themselves in camp. And let's not forget the re-signings. Nick Bolton and Charles Omenihu returning gives the defense some much-needed continuity. These guys know the system and bring stability. In a season of change, the truth is, the Chiefs are betting on a mix of youth and experience to fill those gaps. It's a risk, no doubt, but one that Brett Veach has pulled off before. So here's a question for you. Which newcomer are you most confident in to step up and make a difference? Moore, Fulton, Simmons, or someone else? Drop your pick in the comments. If you're enjoying this breakdown and want to help us grow the channel, hit like and subscribe. We're on the path to 4,000 subscribers, and your support keeps this going. So, Chiefs Kingdom, we've seen the big moves, key veterans leaving, new faces stepping in, and a clear strategy shaping up. But what does all this mean for the 2025 season? First, it's about adapting quickly. The Chiefs coaching staff has a big job ahead to integrate new starters and backups, especially on the offensive line and in the secondary. Chemistry takes time, but they'll need to hit the ground running to avoid early season struggles. Mahomes will face fresh challenges without Thuney, but with his talent and the new line pieces, there's still plenty of reason for optimism. The offense could even evolve in some ways, leaning on quicker passes and creative schemes to keep pressure off the O-line. Defensively, losing Reed and Wharton means more responsibility for young players and new signees like Fulton. The defense may not be as experienced, but that youth and hunger could bring an edge in energy and effort. One thing's for sure, Brett Veach is balancing the roster with an eye on the future while still trying to compete now. It's a tightrope walk, but that's the nature of building a dynasty in the NFL. Here's the big question for you. Do you think these changes will make the Chiefs stronger? Or is this offseason too risky? Let me know your take in the comments. And if you're ready to ride with the Chiefs through every twist and turn, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. We're pushing for 4,000 subscribers, and your support makes all the difference. Thanks for hanging out with me for this deep dive. Stay tuned because there's a lot more Chiefs news coming your way. That's it for today. See you next time.